All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we give all praises honor and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Give honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the Akim and to the elect that are scattered across the four corners of this earth, pushing the truth and faith and sincerity. I'm the brother Shema Allah from the GMS Houston camp, and it's going to be a quick Hebrew lesson dealing with the Assyrian Hebrew, the Assyrian text. As you can see, it says learning the Assyrian text, right? And in this lesson, we're just going to focus on, identifying them, so you can be able to, read these things out of the Torah, or when you go to the blue letter, you'll be able to properly, sound out the words. And you see on the side, it says Ibaryath, which basically means, which is Hebrew, right? Language of the past, right? So, go to introduction. Today we will learn how to identify the Assyrian Hebrew characters and learn how to read them in the Torah. Right? So this is the Assyrian Hebrew text. Right? This text is found written in modern Torahs. So it's important to learn and understand it. Right? And you got the example right here. Like use the buy a Torah, online from Amazon or anything like that. Right? This is what the text will be written like. Right? And you got to know how to read these things, because the text in English, right, could take away from what the word originally meant. Right? That's why in the Hebrew, you read in the Apocrypha, right? And the I believe that's the first the introduction in Sirach, I believe. And it says that, words uttered in another tongue, right, other than the Hebrew, have not the same force in them. All right, so it's good to know how to go back, to the original language of these things. Just like we go into the Hebrew, we go into the Greek. All right, but today, most things are not going to be written in the Lashon Kodash or what they call the Paleo, right? The ancient Hebrew. It's going to be written just like this. So you need to understand how to identify these characters when you're reading out of the Torah or on the blue letter. Because many times when we go into words, when we're out preaching on the highways and the byways, right? If the word is in Hebrew, this is what is going to be written in this type of text. And you got to know how to sound these things out, because if you don't, then, you're going to be out there looking crazy. Like this man can't even read, the Hebrew. And it's not like you just got to understand every word, but just to be able to identify the characters and be able to sound them out. Right? The other things can come later, right? From you knowing how to identify the characters, picking up on certain characters, how to pronounce them, you can learn the words later. Right? But this is just the beginning. This is the start. Right? So you have the ah. This is what the ah will look like. This is the ba, right? And all this is sounding self-explanatory. I'm just going over the pronunciations again. The ga, the da, the ha, the wa, the za, the ha, the ta, the ya, the ka. But wait, there's two characters right here. What does that mean? All right. So you're gonna see this all throughout the Assyrian text, all right? Because this right here is the final letters, and there is 5 of them, right? Ka, ma, na, pa, ta, za. All right. And I will explain, what that means on the next slide. All right, you got the la, you got the ma, the na, the sa, the I, right, the pa, ta, za, kwa, ra, sha, da, right? The Assyrian text, right? Like I just explained, you got the final letters, you got the final ka, you got the final ma, you got the final na, you got the final pa, and you got the final taza. Now, what does the final characters mean? Right? It means kind of exactly what it says, right? The finals. So that means that if you have a word, and let's just say the word begins with a ka, right? And it also ends with a ka. That first ka will be written like this, but that last final ka that's at the end of the word will be written like this one. All right, the same with the ma, right? The same with the pa, the same with the taza, right? If it begins in the taza, the word begins with the character taza, and it ends with the taza, you won't write two of these. The first one will look like this, but the one to end off that word, you will use this one at the bottom. Now let's go to the next slide. All right, we got the word mayam right here to the right, right? And so like I said, you read the Hebrew from right to left. So this is mayam. So this will be the first ma, right? The original ma. You go back here, the top ma, right? This will be the one that's used in most cases, unless it's ending off with the ma, then you will use this one because, like I said, look, you got the original ma, right? Because it's mayam. You got a ma at the beginning and you got the ma at the end. But look, they don't look the same. Why? Because you got to use that final ma. That's the Assyrian text, right? That's how you got to do it, right? See, that final ma. You got that at the end there, right? That's how you do that. Mayam, which means water, right? And you got kasab, which is like money, or particularly silver, is what the word means, right? You got the original ka, right? Because the ka, right here at the beginning, this is what you will use, right? The original ka, right? And then you go to this word barak, which means bless. You see, the ka is right here at the end, right? That's that final ka, right here, the final ka. All right, because you're ending off with it. You see, this one, it begins with the ka, so you will use this character. But if it's the last word, if you're using the ka to end off that sentence, right, then you would use the final ka. Just like right here, you have the final pa in kasab, right? The final pa. This is the pa. But I have to use this pa, that final pa, because it ended off with it. But let's say if that pa was at the beginning, what would I use? I would use this pa, right? So, that's basically what the final letters, is going or means, right? Just, it's not really that complicated, right? But that's the easiest way that I can explain it, right? So that you can understand, what it is, what the final letters means. And also when you always see them written, they're elongated, right? They're written longer than the other characters, right? Look how it always drops. The line always drops, right? The final characters, right? They always do that. It differentiates itself from the rest of the characters, right? Because once you go into the original Hebrew characters, like in the Lashon Kodash, the Paleo, it's 22 characters, but with the final characters, it's 27, right? It's 27. So it's important to know, what the finals are and this and that, because you can get confused if you don't understand them. All right. And also going into writing them, which is going to be the next lesson, right? Which this is like a calligraphy. You need a calligraphy pen to write it exactly like this, which you don't really necessarily have to write it, exactly like this. There's a handwriting version of it, which that's going to be the next lesson. All right. But like I said, right, you can just go over this, look at this, and it gives you a really good understanding of what the final and how these letters change depending on the position in the word, right? All right, now this is something that you can do for practice, all right? Go to the blue letter, any passage, go to that Hebrew, right, in the Old Testament, right? Go to the Hebrew, open up the blue letter, just like this, it's like I got right here, and just start from the top, from the right, all the way down, just sounding out them different characters over and over and over again, right? You just have a few minutes of practice identifying these letters, and that's how you're going to get good at it. You got to put time into it to get good at it, to get better at it, right? To sound these things out, because this is this is really the basics. This is simple, right? And if you really put, time into it, right, daily, however you want to do it, it can be learned, right? This is not the advanced portion of the Hebrew, right? This is pretty basic. I did the first for you, right? You got the wa, right? You got the ya, the first word. I did the first word for you. Ah, ma, ra. Don't worry about what the word means. Just try to sound it out. That's it. Let's try to sound them out. Wa, ya, ah, ma, ra, right? Which is wa, ya, wa, ya, amar. That's how you would really say it, Amar, because it connects. But don't worry about it. Don't worry about all that. You see, don't worry about all that, right? Why ya Amar, right? Which means, and he said. But look, then you got this next character right here. What is that? Let's say, oh, I don't know what that is. Go to the chart, right? Go to the chart, find the letter. Let's see, okay, where is it? Right here. How do you pronounce it? I. Go here. I. What's this character? We just read that. Go all the way over here. Oh, that's the Y. All right, that's the Y. What is this one? All right, go to the chart. You see it? It's the Da. So, what does that word say? I, Wa, Da. Right, then go here. A, La, Ha, Ya, Ma, A, La, Ma, Sha, Ha. Just go through it, sounding them out. All right. Like I said, do not worry about what the words mean. That will come later. Just learn how to sound these things out. All right. So, hey, that's the lesson. Like I said, it's gonna be something quick, you know. And with that, hey, I'm gonna say shalom.